Hi, my name is Terry Harrington, and I would like to welcome you to a new edition of Technically Speaking. Technically Speaking is a monthly program produced by St. Clair County RESA that features the St. Clair County Technical Education Center. By the way, TEC is celebrating its 35th anniversary this school year. Not only will you get to meet and see what students are doing, you'll even have the chance to meet TEC staff members and alumni. And in this edition of Technically Speaking, we're going to take a look at one of the more popular and flashy programs at TEC, welding technology. On the surface, welding may seem pretty straightforward and simple, but in reality, welding has become more complex and requires a higher level of skills. Today's welders are in great demand, and they need to know all about metals, some robotic technology, and plenty of math and physics. Like most technology-dependent jobs in Michigan and across the country, the job opportunities for those trained in welding is growing. America's Career InfoNet is projecting up to a 6% increase in the number of jobs available for those students with welding skills over the next 6 years or so. And the expected wages are to be above average, ranging anywhere from $25,000 a year to as high as $50,000 annually. There is a whole lot more to the welding field than you can imagine, so let's head down to the welding lab and meet TEC's welding instructor Jeff Holsworth when we come back from this break. So don't go away. Welcome back to Technically Speaking, and as you can see, we've made our way down to the Welding Technology Lab, and joining us now is the welding instructor, Jeff Holsworth. And Jeff, welcome to the program.
Good to see you, Terry.
Good to have you. So what's your background and how did you become an instructor in welding here at TEC?
My background is I had a high school class exactly like this. This class is a little more detailed than what we had in high school, and I liked welding, so I went on, after I graduated high school, went on to Ferris State University and got a degree in welding at Ferris, and then immediately went into the industry and was in the industry for 23 years.
Wow.
And 5 years ago, I applied for the job here as a welding instructor, and as far as a career, it's probably the best choice I've ever made.
Has welding changed quite a bit since you've had your initial training back at Ferris State?
The techniques have changed. The American Welding Society sets all the standards and codes for welding, so that really hasn't changed much, but processes have. Okay. New machinery, inverter power supplies, mostly in the equipment that delivers the power to weld with.
Okay. I know it used to seem like welding was kind of a hobby type of thing, maybe guys working in their shop in the garage or whatever, but it really has a big impact on American life, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does. People don't realize how welding affects your life. Almost everybody has a cell phone. A lot of people don't know that there's laser welding inside of that cell phone on the circuit boards. Your appliances at home, your stove, refrigerator, furnaces, cars, obviously, but there is a lot in our lives that that includes welding.
What are some of the jobs that your students are being prepared for today?
We are preparing my students, our students, to go right out into the industry after this school. So, fabricator, fitter, welder, robotics programming, pipe welding, Boilermakers welding, the different unions out there that are available for these kids to go right from high school onto a career, or go on to higher education. There are a lot of good welding schools in the state of Michigan post-secondary.
Are you finding that there's a lot of jobs for the kids out there today?
I wouldn't say a whole lot, but I would say within the countrywide, and there's statistics on the American Welding Society website, it's aws.org. That show that kids going out of a training program like this and through a 2-year training program, that it is 100% placement. That's throughout the United States. I know in the Detroit area right now is where I get most of my calls for students to come down. So there's quite a few welding jobs in the Detroit area right now.
And you're finding a lot of those students who would rather go right into work are able to find some coming right out of your program?
Yes. They are. You know, the employers really like our kids. They know our program. Some of them are on the advisory committee, so they know what this program is. The curriculum is written to the American Welding Society standard, so it's easy for them to transition right into the industry.
What about certification? Is there like a state certification or something that the kids are able to
There
write
is not a state certification. What there is it's called an American Welding Society certification. And fortunately this year we are going to have the opportunity for the first time in the history of this school to get 100% of our seniors certified with at least one American Welding Society certification for their portfolio when they leave here.
That's got to be a huge step for you folks.
For the employer too.
I can imagine. I can imagine. What would you tell parents about the program? Why should their son or daughter consider participating in this program?
Well, I think welding in the next 6 years, there's statistics also that it's the amount of jobs that are going to be available is big. The average age of a welder in the United States right now is 58 years old. They're retiring, they're leaving the industry, they're going and moving on. And as a matter of fact, on the American Welding Society website, it shows a shortage in the United States right now of 210,000 welders.
Wow, so there are some job opportunities.
When that job opportunities are here and the demand is here and the placement is down here right now, those wages are going to go way up.
Great, that's good. Now, you've got several items in front of us here. Are there different types of welding that students can specialize in, or they learn a little bit of all of the processes?
We actually don't specialize in this in this program. These students learn 4 major processes: shielded metal arc welding, gas metal arc welding, gas tungsten arc welding, and oxy-fuel welding. That is a very, very good broad base to go right out into the industry. So we don't encourage kids to do just shielded metal arc welding or just gas metal arc welding. I encourage them to finish all their books here. And they are a well-rounded student and they're well-rounded for the industry. That way an employer can bring a kid in and say, okay, I need your oxy-fuel welding today, but I need your MIG welding tomorrow. And they're very versed in that. So that transition is good.
Are there any special skills the students need to have to come into your program?
You know what, the main one is hand-eye coordination.
Okay.
But it's hand-eye coordination. It's reading what you're doing and reacting to it immediately. And that's one of the reasons why girls make very good welders. They have very good hand-eye coordination.
Great. Well, why don't we take a minute, and then when we come back, we'll take a look and see what some of the work the students are able to do. Welcome back to Technically Speaking. Here we are in the Welding Technology Lab, and joining me now from St. Clair High School is senior Jared Tarnecki. Jared, welcome.
Nice to meet you.
So Jared, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you like best about welding.
Well, I'm a senior at St. Clair High School. What I like best about welding is that it presents me with a challenge. You know, every day I get to come in and I'm presented with new metal, new materials, new objectives. You know, every day is a new challenge for me.
Okay. Why did you decide to choose welding, and what do you hope to do with what you're learning in this program?
I got some references from some friends at high school. You know, some people said that it was a fun class and it was a cool class. You know, so I decided to check it out. And what I like to continue to do, I'd like to go on to college maybe and further my education, and then take it on and get a job.
You're looking to using this as a career?
Yes.
Explain a little bit some of the skills that you're learning in this program.
Some of the skills I'm learning are, we started out first year with shield metal arc welding, SMAW, and gas metal arc welding, GMAW. After that, second year we'll do gas tungsten arc welding and MIG welding. That's what we're doing.
Now you've got some pieces out here that you've done. Explain a few of these for me.
Yep, these right here, these two are just on mild steel. This is a butt joint, bringing 2 pieces of metal, forming them to make one. T-joint on an angle like that. This right here is stainless steel metal. It's a little bit different material. This right here is aluminized metal.
Okay. Now, is it fairly simple to do all of those different types of metals, or is it one presents a different type of challenge than the other?
Everyone presents a different challenge. This might be, if you would, the easier one. You know, the starter presents more of a challenge, and this one, I haven't started in that yet, but that's challenging. Okay,
great. So you're going to do a demonstration for us today. Tell us what you're going to do.
Yep, I'm going to be doing just a pass with TIG right here. This is going to be my torch.
Okay, explain TIG. How does that work?
All right. So first, we got our machines. We'll turn our machine on, and we'll turn on our argon gas.
Okay.
That's what shields the metal. It protects the metal. We got our tungsten right here. This is our rod. This is our heat source. This is what causes our heat. We got our torch, smaller, pretty easy.
So you can adjust the size of the,
Yep. You sharpen
flame,
the tip.
so to speak, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Just like that. And then with TIG, which is interesting, you got this foot pedal right here.
Oh, okay. Was not aware of that. All right.
So I push down that, and that controls how hot I bring out the heat
Gotcha.
of this gun.
Now, what is this? Almost looks like some copper.
This is filler metal. This is
Okay.
what I will be. It's just like a metal replacement. As I burn my metal, I'll be dipping, and it'll be
Almost like
filling
solder
metal.
would do in a soldering iron, right?
Right.
Okay, good. Well, let's show us what you're going to do, and let's see what happens, how it turns out.
All right.
And of course, we all have to wear these shields, don't we?
Safety.
You bet.
Safety's the main key. All right. Okay, you ready? Go. Put down.
Well, that was pretty quick. That's about a 4 or 5 inch piece of metal. That didn't take you very long at all.
No, it didn't.
So most of the projects go pretty quick like that?
They do. They're usually pretty short, but you know, say in the industry, you know, there might be 18-inch, 14-inch, or there could be 5, 6-inch.
Okay, all right. Jared, thank you so much for showing us. We just wish
Thank
you
you
all the
very
best,
much.
especially as you look forward to graduating in the spring and
Yep.
and to your career and future education. Thank you
Yep.
very much.
Thank you.
And we're going to go over and take a look at see what another student can demonstrate for us now. Well, we're at another workstation here at the Welding Technology Lab here at St. Clair County Technical Education Center. And joining me now from K-PAC High School is Rachel Sakara. And Rachel, welcome.
Hi.
So you're a senior, so why did you want to get into a welding program?
Well, I chose tech because I'm a hands-on visual learner, and seeing, hearing, and be able to physically do it makes me better understand things. And welding, I chose welding because when I was younger, I would always grab a hood and watch my dad, and he'd never let me get close or do it. So it aggravated me. So when I got the opportunity to actually do it and learn it the right way versus shop way, I said, why not?
Has the program met your expectations, what you're hoping to learn?
Yes. It has really, it's more of like a hobby type thing for me. And
Great. Now, we've got a number of different items on display. Can you kind of explain some of the types of welds that you would do with these things?
Sure, this is your first year project. You normally start with like a 6013 electrode, and you start off, that's like your first part, and then after lots of welding, you finish it at the top, and it's just weld on top of weld on top of weld, and the reason for that is basically to get down pat with your speed and get used to it before you actually start getting into your projects.
And then you would start working on some of these?
Yeah, these are Skills USA projects. You kind of, in the classroom, we do different activities that'll get you prepared for different competitions available.
Are you hoping, you mentioned that this is kind of a hobby for you right now, but are you hoping to kind of work in this area for a living?
Yes and no. I want to be a CPA and a CPTP,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and on the side, I actually want to do auto mechanic work, which would interpret welding.
Oh, great. Great. What kind of skills are you learning as part of this program?
Well, you learn a variety of skills. It's not just welding skills, it's actual real life skills, job skills, team building skills, just a variety of stuff. It's not just welding, you're using different equipment too.
And my guess is, yeah, you're going into CPA, you said?
Yes.
Counting, so that's a very detailed program. I would imagine a lot of those skills would mirror what you do with the welding with what you're going to be going into as an accountant.
Yes.
Great. Rachel, what's it like being a girl in a program that's predominantly boy-oriented?
It's a great feeling. It's awesome to be a woman in a man's world. And for any of those girls out there, I just tell them not to be discouraged. I was once told that I couldn't do the things that I do now, and after putting thought into it, I knew if I set my mind to it that I could do it. And so if any of the girls do it too, they can achieve what they want to achieve.
And my guess is not just for this program, but any program here.
Oh yeah, I mean, I worked on trucks and do that stuff all the time, and people look at me funny and, you know, oh, a girl can't do it, and then I can, so.
What does your dad think?
Well, my dad, he's kind of, that's who I work on the trucks and stuff with sometimes, and he's kind of up in the air about it, iffy, you know, just doesn't want his daughter going up ahead of him.
I can understand that.
Not that that would happen, though. My dad's very educated in that area.
Good. Well, you're going to demonstrate some welding for us. Tell us what you're going to do.
I'm going to do the shield metal arc welding process, and it's an electric arc process that uses a consumable electrode, which means that you're burning up the electrode as you're welding. So this is your full electrode, and this is actually one that's been burnt up. The advantage to it is that you can use it in remote areas. The disadvantage is that you have to stop every 12 to 14 inches and, you know, reload your electrode holder, which is time consuming, and in the industry, time is money.
Okay, great. Well, let's do it.
All right, hoods down. Heads up.
Wow, it's incredible. How hot would you say that is?
It's probably over close to 1,000 degrees.
Wow, that would be tough. Great. And then so you finish your job, you're just cleaning it up, and there we have it. You mentioned earlier about the skills competition. What was that like for you?
It was fun. I didn't really look at it necessarily as a competition. I kind of looked at it as like fun hobby. I mean, everybody in here, we all get along well, and we kind of just all help each other. So I found it fun and entertaining.
And you're going on to skills this spring?
Yes, my instructor wants me to, so I'm practicing for that now.
Great. Well, we wish you all the best when your competition, and then for your classmates as well, and for whatever your future holds.
Thank you.
Great. We'll be back in just a moment. Us now, and technically speaking, is former welding technology student Pat Doherty. And Pat, welcome to the program.
Nice, thank you.
Pat, where are you attending now, and what program are you studying?
I'm currently attending Ferris State University. I received my associates in welding technology from there, and then to advance on that, I went into the manufacturing engineering just to kind of get the automation skills that I wanted to get.
Great. So how did the welding technology program here at Tech help prepare you for school?
I learned the manual skills real well here. They really hammered it onto us and you know, made us learn, but they made it fun to learn everything. So that was really nice going to Ferris, coming from this kind of background, because when I got there, the welding lab was kind of like a comfort zone. I didn't feel out of my place, you know. I went there and I felt comfortable in the welding lab. And, just kind of, I went in knowing a little bit more than a lot of the other students from a lot of different tech schools. So it really helped me out and just better made me adapt to the college life.
Now you're saying that because of your skills you've learned at Tech and what you're learning at Ferris State, you already are lined up for a job when you graduate next spring, right?
This past summer, I went to North Dakota for John Deere, where I was a welding engineer for air seeders. and they offered me a full-time position with them in Waterloo, Iowa, which is pretty nice.
So you'll graduate on a Friday or a Saturday, and the next week you'll be employed, right?
Yep.
Doesn't get any better than that.
No, it's nice having something lined up right after school.
Now, what does a welding engineer do?
Welding engineer does a lot more than just the welding side of things. They help implement, new welding stuff into the weld lines. They not only do that though, the fixtures that the welders operate on, they find better ways to make that so that the welder can better use this fixture to increase their production. They just find better ways around the weld area to help them.
And I think too, we probably don't realize how much welding is really involved in the manufacture of just about everything we use every day, isn't it?
Yeah, just about everything has welds on it. I mean, even from your razors that you use that have laser welds on them to tables that have welds all over them. It's really a big thing, and the welding engineer has to make their procedures work so that later on that it'll work with the assembly or the paint. So it's really a lot more than just welding.
I find there's a lot of jobs open for students who would come through a program like this.
Yes, actually there's a big opening. We constantly see where they need people, and through working with John Deere, they said that they are going to have a real shortage of welders later on down the road. Not only with welding engineers, but welders. A lot of their people are retiring, so they really need people to step up and come into these really good paying jobs.
What advice would you give students who are currently attending the welding technology program here at TEC?
They attend here, I'd tell them get everything they can out of it. Do at least every process at least once. And they have the robots here, try and just learn that, and just really make sure that they get their hands in each and every one, because when you get out, you don't know what you're going to be doing. So better to have a wide array of skills than just sticking with one process.
Now, are you going to be doing one or two particular processes when you start your career, or are you going to be using everything that you've learned here?
This past summer I did a lot of robotics, and did industrial engineering, which is more the manual side of things, the assembly and just the manual welding. But I'm going to John Deere, and I'm going to be working for their engineering development program, so I'll be doing robotics and everything. What I kind of aspire to do though is to be the head engineer of a whole weld line. So basically I'll be in charge of the robots on that weld line, the manual welders on that weld line. So I'll have kind of total control of the whole workflow through that center.
Wow.
So I can work with the manual welders so that the robot has good parts going into it, and then when they come out of the robot, that they go on to the secondary operation, that everything just flows.
And you wouldn't be able to do that without starting here at TEC, would you?
No, the skills that I've learned here have definitely, I used them this summer, I've used them at Ferris, and I'll be using them for a long time.
Great. Well, Pat, we wish you all the best, and thank you for joining us on this edition of Technically Speaking.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of Technically Speaking as we celebrate 35 years of St. Clair County Tech. We hope you have enjoyed this look at the welding technology program. We'd like to thank instructor Jeff Holdsworth and his students. To learn more about welding technology or any other tech program, go to the St. Clair Tech website at sctech.org. We hope to visit with you again soon on Technically Speaking.